Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know the one massive tattoo-pain-removal hypnosis tip for 2022, because people have had enough of being tough and tattoos still hurting at the same time. And I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And you deserve to know the truth about what can be achieved with hypnosis for pain removal for when you get a tattoo. And while the man leading the field in pain-free tattoos is Benjamin Ryan from the UK Hypnosis Academy, and you can check him out on YouTube. The fact is, people opt in for hypnosis for more than just pain-free tattoos. Some go all in as the primary use of analgesia for surgery or dentistry, or for psychological reasons, like their aunt had some bad experience using anesthetic and now they're terrified of the same thing happening to them, or they just choose not to use anesthetic because, and I don't know if you've ever seen Michael Mosley, the BBC presenter, being zapped with a heat test as he investigates hypnosis for pain relief, but you can see Stuart Derbyshire of Birmingham University, who's an expert on pain. He zaps Michael Mosley with a heat test. Michael says something like, ouch, and then hypnotize him and zaps him with the same heat test. But the next time when he's in hypnosis, there's no pain. And that's because MRI images of the brain have demonstrated that when you're in pain, the anterior cingulate cortex lights up because it's aware you are in pain. But when you're in hypnosis, it's different. And Dr. Spiegel of Stanford University School of Medicine gave a talk at the World Economic Forum on self-hypnosis. David has spent his life devoted to how he thinks the brain works and how hypnosis can help. David found when subjects were hypnotized, they were in less pain. Not only that, they were able to get on and do things. In 2018, 1 in 3 Americans had an opiate prescription, and the rate of accidental drug overdoses had tripled since the year 2000. To quote David, hypnosis doesn't kill people, it doesn't addict people, but it does reduce pain. Not only that, some people who use self-hypnosis go on to live longer. And there are all sorts of weird and wonderful people out there with different styles of hypnosis. I'm an Erickson hypnotist, and that might mean jack all to you, but Milton Erickson was a pioneer in pain removal, and that's because he used the basic pattern of 1. Pace and lead, 2. Distract and utilize dominant hemisphere, 3. Access non-dominant hemisphere. And I'm confident someone like you who's aware of hypnosis referring to the conscious and subconscious mind, but maybe what you don't know is Milton called it the dominant and non-dominant hemisphere. Your dominant hemisphere of your brain are things like the language system of the brain and the contralateral side of your body, like when you lean to the left. Your pelvis also drops to the side. Your subconscious mind or unconscious mind, the non-dominant hemisphere functions, a visualization, melody, and special class of language. For example, if you go shooting, play baseball, or try balancing something in your right hand, if you sing a song or a melody, your game will improve. But if the ball's in your left hand, it will turn out to be a bunch of BS. But if you chose to speak and talk instead of sing, the opposite is true. And this is because speaking and balancing compete with the same area of the brain, creating a spillover effect. Speaking improves your ability to recognize elements in your right visual field, and even when shapes are nonsensical. In contrast, when you sing melodies, a right hemisphere function, you get a left visual field advantage. And I can only imagine someone like you that appreciates high-end art, tremendous masters of design, visionaries of the creative world, understands that creativity isn't just a random act. There's a process to it. And to quote Jerry Levy from the psychobiological implications of bilateral asymmetry in hemisphere function in the human brain. Each side of the brain is able to perform and chooses to perform a set of cognitive tasks which to the other side finds difficult, distasteful, or both. In most of the population, right hemisphere synthesizes over space. The left, in most of the population, analyzes over time. The right hemisphere notes visual similarities to the exclusion of conceptual similarities. The left hemisphere does the opposite. The right hemisphere perceives form. The left hemisphere detail. The right hemisphere encodes sensory input in terms of images. The left hemisphere in terms of linguistic descriptions. If you get a really good hypnotist and they're time poor and they want to speed up the induction, they can speak to one ear in a short, sharp, rhythmic beat and the other ear in a melody, and again in baby language in one ear and in something more sophisticated and abstract in the other. And you can switch sides of the brain to activate your creativity anytime you choose. But for some, they need to start from scratch. And it's the same ability you have when you switch on and off pain. Because Milton Erickson explained that many times in the course of teaching a client who has a highly valued representational system that isn't visual, they eventually go on to make the distinction between imagining a picture and seeing a picture. The one way which they have developed to assist the client in coming to have the ability to visualize vividly is to teach them to shut down their internal verbal dialogue. Very often, this first experience with shutting down the verbal internal dialogue leads to what appears to be a trance behavior. And it's been pointed out that gifted mathematicians describe having a sudden insight where the solution is flashed before their eyes. Howard Gardner, author of Shattered Mind, reported that when one discourses in language, the eyes should shift to the right. Conversely, when a person is using spatial imagery as follows a route or solving a geometrical problem, his right hemisphere should be activated and his eyes should consequently shift leftwards. When graduate students and professors in mathematics were interviewed at Princeton University, those whose eyes moved to the right were found in the opinion of their peers to be less creative as mathematicians. They displayed less interest in the arts and utilized a smaller amount of visual imagery in solving problems than a matched group of mathematicians whose eyes moved to the left, reflecting activity in the non-dominant hemisphere. And here you are, bettering yourself as a human being, living out your full expression to its highest potential. And maybe you might end up with more than a tattoo and becoming a pioneer of managing your pain. And as you've already worked out, Stuart Derbyshire from Birmingham University, who zapped the BBC presenter Michael Mosley with a heat test, was right. You don't say things like ouch when you're in hypnosis because your brain just does something different, and you deserve to get the tattoo of your dreams, to withstand the detail, the artistry, to be a mental warrior of your body. And before I share with you the one massive Tattoo-Pain-Removal Hypnosis technique, I need to remind you it needs to include ambiguity in order for your brain to shift. So it is a bit weird, but here is the one massive Tattoo-Pain-Removal Hypnosis tip for 2022. Anesthesia by the hypnotic genius Dave Ellman. Close your eyes and pretend you can't open them. So as long as you keep pretending that you can't open your eyes, you'll feel nothing. Nothing will bother you, no matter what I, the doctor or tattoo artist, does. Keep pretending, and while you are pretending, try and open your eyes. You'll find it impossible if you're concentrating hard on the pretense. Now, you know very well that you can open your eyes anytime you change your mind. And stop pretending. All the time while you were pretending that you couldn't open your eyes, your sense of judgment was completely suspended concerning that particular action. You have achieved the same eye closure that you would. If I say this convincingly enough, you'll believe it completely. I've established selective thinking. Your critical faculty was inoperative, and the rest is complete anesthesia. This does not mean that you are hypnotized. It is merely entering a wedge, and hypnosis is not obtained until selective thinking is firmly established. Selective thinking is whatever you believe wholeheartedly. For example, if you believe you'll feel no pain, You will believe it completely. You will have no pain. Now imagine, what's your favorite board game? Computer game or sport? If it's swimming, all I want you to do now is close your eyes and visualize yourself actively engaged in this sport swimming. Can you see yourself swimming? So as you continue to see yourself swimming, nothing that's done will bother you, because when you imagine yourself swimming, you're bypassing the critical faculty and you won't feel anything. Congratulations. Selective thinking was established. The 2 steps were made so easily that maybe you didn't realize. So what if you thought about pain-free tattoos differently? And what if you didn't? The choice is yours.